Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
And happy Hanukkah.
Man, we're late. We're late this week, everybody. So sorry. We couldn't get our schedules synced up. Got a lot going on with the holidays, just like I'm sure everyone on listening does. But we're here. It's Saturday. We missed the Thursday night game, which may have been a good thing because I absolutely fell in love with Dallas. But we're back to do the full card, coming off a great 4-1 week. For podcast listeners, we had a favorable line in the Tampa game last week for the wannamakeabet.com newsletter people.
Yes,
we gave it out at 3.5, which we didn't cover. But either way, we had a great week, and we're pumped to get back on the horse and get it going. How you doing, bud?
Yeah, other than this plumbing issue I'm having in my house, life is pretty good. Really busy week at work, which was good. Things went my way. Laying off the game, even though the data would have supported the Lions, just to let you know.
Yeah.
But I kind of understand why people like Dallas. They kind of goaded you into it with the 3.5. And I guess everyone, I didn't watch the game.
Well, it was 3. I mean, I didn't even have a good closing line. I mean, I know it went to 3.5, Thursday morning when they announced St. Brown was going to play, but I had a bad number. But I think I in that game, if they played that game again today with everybody starting, I think I would bet Dallas again. I just think they're the better team. They didn't play well. Pickens had a terrible game.
Yeah, I heard. I saw some of the highlights. Like Pickens showed why we got rid of him. A little immature. I guess CeeDee Lamb got knocked out. Looked like he had a concussion. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. And I don't think Dak played bad, right? 369 touchdown, 1 interception off a deflection. Yep. He wasn't the reason.
He played very well.
Jahmyr Gibbs, man. Jahmyr Gibbs is just too good. He's the best player in the league.
I think the biggest takeaway for me was, 2 things: the combination of Jared Goff being very good, and them getting more protection than I thought they would get with that banged up offensive line, and the absolute, sort of horrible play of the Dallas secondary. They absolutely could not stop anything. And their special teams were also very poor.
Yeah.
Every time they scored, they were giving up Detroit was returning the ball to the 50-yard line and more on a bunch of those plays.
Yeah, well, Dallas had that 4-game gauntlet. They went 3-1. I mean, anybody who thought they were going to go 4-0, I think, is a little delusional. So,
and then I hate saying stuff about officiating, but there was the most egregious call that I've seen this year.
Ferguson, the offensive PI. Yeah, I saw it. I thought it was a joke.
I can't believe that
he wasn't going to catch it either way, but
but still. And then that whole sequence really. And I'm not saying I probably would have covered the 3.5, but they were not going to stop Detroit. Period. I'm convinced of that. Could I have covered? Yeah, but I also very questionable coaching decision to kick that field goal there at the end. What, you hadn't stopped them the entire game? Why would you kick a field goal there?
I didn't watch the game, so I don't really know.
It was really, really questionable coaching call, in my opinion. All right. He hadn't stopped the team and I've seen it before, and I've even said it on the podcast before, when these coaches kick field goals late to go up by 6, or in this case, it would have been to cut it to 7, but go for it. You're inside the fucking 10-yard line, or you're on the inside the 15, whatever it was. You haven't stopped them all game.
Well, they were down 10?
Yeah, they cut it to 10.
Oh, they cut it to 10. So they were down 13.
Yes.
How much time was left?
Doesn't matter. It was late. It was late. Maybe a couple possessions left. It was late. And again, you hadn't stopped them the entire game. Yeah, what makes you think by taking points there, you're gonna stop them on the next possession? You've got to go score for score with Detroit if you have a shitty secondary. It's just a fact.
Yeah. Well, listen, Dallas now, I think, what are they, 6-1? I think they had that tie, right? So, it wasn't a must-win. It wasn't a must-win, but they could have used it. But Detroit, I thought, needed the game more to keep pace with what Chicago's doing.
I did.
Potentially Green Bay. I know they're playing this week. So, got to give credit to Campbell. He's very good in those spots off a loss, especially at home. So is Goff. And Dallas, I think, kind of showed that they're just not quite ready for prime time, yet. Not with that defense, not with that secondary. And that was the result. But let's move on to Sunday. There's some good games.
Great games. Let's kick it off with a game that's likely going to be a skip unless you violently disagree. The Dolphins are playing the Jets for the second time this year. They're coming up to New York. I don't think the weather is going to be good. You're going to probably give me data that says that Tua is 0-11 or something like that when he plays outside in the cold. This is another one of those games. I like the Jets in this game, but just kind of like last couple, the Jets have been playing well. I don't remember what the score was in the first time they played, but
so is Miami. But both teams have played well recently for sure. I'll tell you, the Tyrod Taylor has a knack for covering spreads. I know the spread is short here. I think it's 2.5.
Yeah.
Contest line 2.5.
Yeah, and live. Yeah.
So he's 7-0-1 against the spread in his last 8. He's 37-21-4 against the spread in his career as a starter. That's 63%. That's pretty good. Tua has been good actually on the road versus the AFC East, which you would not think. 7-2-1 against the spread. He's 6-0 straight up against the Jets in his career. He's never lost to the Jets.
Wow.
This might be the week.
You think?
I'm not impressed with how the Jets have turned things around. I think they're headed in the right direction. I like what they're getting out of Adonai Mitchell and Michi, and I like the way Breece Hall's playing. I think the defense is playing a little more inspired. The Jets special teams has been good, not bad. And I don't love Miami in the cold weather. I got to be honest with you. I just, something, doesn't feel right. In road games in December, Tua is only 3-8 against the spread. So I would take the Jets here, Jack. I think they got a lot of things going for them. I think they've kind of turned the corner. And I like the way they're playing with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Let's see where we are at the end of the show. I don't really want to be that to be in our top 5, but let's see where we are.
Okay.
Let's move on to the Washington Commanders at the Vikings. Short line here. It's actually been crossing over the pick'em. Sort of like came out Vikings -2.5. I don't know. I'll check the injuries here in a second. Then Washington, I guess Jaden Daniels is now playing because it flipped over again.
Correct.
On the yesterday afternoon. So Vikings were laying 1.5. Now they're getting 1.5, and that's where we are on 43.5. What do you think here?
I think this game's pretty much a skip. I mean, just the Vikings have been so bad. I mean, they've lost 4 games in a row against the spread. They're 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 overall. I know they're at home. The quarterback thing, they got this rookie kid. I know they threw him into the fire last week against Seattle's defense. Can't really blame him for that. The one data point I think that supports them is that teams that get shut out usually bounce back in the league pretty good historically. 33-17-3 against the spread, including 3-0 against the spread this season in games that teams have been shut out in the next week. They tend to cover the spread. So I'm not rushing to bet Minnesota. I know a lot of people are going to love Washington here, especially with Jaden out and the way they played against Denver. But I would be very careful. This one stinks to me to high heaven. I'm not going to say take the Vikings, but I cannot fall into that Washington trap. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked, look, last week I liked Washington. I had a bet on them. I think they're playing hard, and I think, that was one of the more entertaining games of the entire year.
It was great.
That game against Denver. And
so
I was
good.
happy to, I think like, what's his face? The quarterback for Washington.
Mariota?
Yeah, he was very capable in that game.
He was.
I mean, he had one bad play at the end there, or they would have won that game if he just would have done what a lot. Yeah, or just sidearm it, just fake, like anything would have done it.
I think it was a better play by Benito than a bad play by Mariota, honestly.
It was, but just a little more patience there, and you have a wide open receiver. You know what I mean? But either way, look. JJ McCarthy starting again. Max Brosmer was, I know I was talking him up last week on the show, and
you weren't the only one who got that wrong.
Yeah, and he made one of the worst plays I've seen all season by a quarterback with a very extremely reckless and careless underhanded flip That was an
that reminded me of?
Carson Wentz,
No,
open-handed,
well, close.
open-handed.
No, the porno guy in Tennessee last year.
Oh, Will Levis.
Yes.
Yes.
Will Levis did that a lot, falling down, just throwing the ball randomly to defensive linemen.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Can't do it.
You just can't do that. So he's out and McCarthy's back, and I don't like McCarthy at all. I mean, I like Washington in this game, but it's ugly and we'll definitely stay away. But I think the Vikings are done, and this is an ugly game. Let's move on.
Yep.
Okay. We got Titans Browns. Shedeur Sanders is a favorite.
Wow, 3.5.
Yeah, it's 4.5 now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know if there was some injury news for Tennessee that made that pop, or that we suddenly got somebody healthy, but I don't think
this is a big survivor play this week, Jack. I'll tell you, there's 2 big survivor plays. Cleveland's one of them.
I even had it circled.
That makes me like Tennessee.
I had it circled also from, I planned out my whole, and before I lost with Carolina, I planned out my whole season, and I had the Browns here, and I know they're going to be a big play. And I don't think we'll lose this game, but I don't think we should be favored. And, I mean, it's a perfect opportunity to bet against us. Like you're like Shedeur Sanders is not good enough to be a favorite, but I have to say our defense is, and our defense is playing at an elite level still. And so is Myles Garrett. I think could easily be the game where he breaks the record. He could get 2 or 3 sacks in this game, no problem. And I think it's sort of like, it could be a game where Tennessee doesn't score again, and we barely score. I think it's the lowest under of the NFL season at 35.
It is.
So I like the under, and I like Cleveland to win this game. Something like 10-6, 10-3, 13-6, something like that, but I would never touch it with a 10-foot pole. But excited.
I'm going to lean Tennessee. Tennessee's covered 3 in a row, actually, coming off AFC South matchups. Cleveland's just not good enough to be giving 4.5 points to anybody. I don't care where they're playing the game. And Shedeur's got to prove it to me before I put money on him as a favorite. I'm not doing it. That you throw that into the fact that Cleveland is going to have a lot of desperate fucking bettors on them to survive this week. And I'm not saying Tennessee's any good. These, to me, are 2 bad teams. And I would just be very, very careful here. If anything, I would, if you're a real gambler, you take a little bit on the Tennessee money line and you take a shot there, but that's it. I mean, this game's a skip. I'm not going to get you to Tennessee. I'm not going to get to Cleveland. I think, honestly, we just kind of move on with it, but I'd be very leery of laying 4.5.
Totally agree. All right. We got a good game next. One of my favorites, despite the fact that these teams are both playing terrible.
500 teams, 6-6.
I know, man. So we got the Steelers going to Baltimore. Why don't you kick us off here? Current line is 6 at wantomakeabet.com, 42.5. And in the contest, we are at 5.5.
Listen, I'll tell you, just as a Steeler fan, we played horrible last week against Buffalo. Obviously, everything went wrong that could have gone wrong, right? The defense isn't good. Tomlin's getting criticized. They booed during Renegade. They were screaming fire Tomlin. I mean, the fan base has had enough. In this matchup, however, I will say the underdog dominates this matchup against the spread. And they always have. Doesn't matter where the game is. If you have the team getting points, you take that team. So the underdog is 29-12-3 in the regular season. When the line is 3 or more points, the underdog is 23-5-3 against the spread. Here, the line is 6. I absolutely love Pittsburgh. I think Baltimore, Lamar Jackson is hurt. He is not able to run. You said it 3 weeks ago. And I said that I liked his performance in Miami. And you said it was kind of weird. He didn't look right, even though he threw the 4 touchdowns and they won that game. But he hasn't looked right since. And he certainly didn't look good against Cincinnati. Something's going on there. And I'm not really sure what it is. Their defense hasn't been dominant all year. This is not the Ravens defense. The Steelers defense stinks. We know they stink. So the question is, can Aaron Rodgers go in there and either upset them or at least keep it close enough? And I think he will. When the Ravens are favored, they're just 3-10-1 against the spread in these games. There's nothing here that can make me like Baltimore. 6 points in this matchup is way too many. Way too many.
Yeah.
I like Pittsburgh with the 6.
Yeah, I kind of do too. At the same time, I don't want to bet it. Like everything you said, I agree with. I couldn't get you to Buffalo last week, but I personally bet it and I was very happy with that choice. I think your defense is playing terrible, especially against the run, and it scares the hell out of me to bet against Baltimore, knowing their running game. But the thing is that, part of their running game being so good
is Lamar.
No, it's the two-headed monster of Lamar and Derrick Henry. And
Correct.
I think teams know that Lamar isn't really the threat that he's always been because he's hurt. It's just very simple. It's not that you say something's wrong with Lamar. Yeah, he's hurt. He's still hurt.
He has a bad knee.
Right? He doesn't have his lower body strength. And so I think they're a little bit more predictable in having to give the ball to Henry, and you guys are going to know that that's coming. But that, to me, it doesn't matter because you weren't able to stop the run last week. And so
I know get any better. I'll tell you that, because when Harmon's not playing, so our rookie number 1 pick, who clogs up the middle, defensive tackle, who when he's in there, we do a better job of stopping the run. He's not playing again. He's got a knee issue.
Yeah.
So there are no answers on the defense. None.
Yeah.
And Duggar's out, so that hurts us.
Yep.
We do get a couple guys back, which is good. We elevated Asante Samuel. We cut Darius Slay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're making some moves. We picked up Adam Thielen, who I think could be a serviceable number 2 or number 3 receiver. Smart guy, knows the routes. I think Rodgers might find him useful. And we have the great big tight end, Darnell Washington. We got to get him the ball more.
Yeah.
And this is a game where Jaylen Warren has to do his thing and Gainwell out of the backfield. And we got a great kicker. I don't see, this is a rivalry game. This game's going to be really tight and close. I don't see a blowout here either way. I am worried about Zay Flowers. Even though he hasn't been great, this is the kind of game where he could be great. Our secondary is not good. And he's very quick. He's very, very quick. But I still think 6 is too many, Jack, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to get there. I just think that, look, there is that outside, for Lamar is very good. He's not playing great. He's still hurt, but I don't think Baltimore is going to lose this game. I tend to agree with you that I think you guys will cover, but it wouldn't surprise me if they won the game by 7-10.
Yeah, it's a 6-point line.
I know. That's why it's just, I don't have enough confidence in Baltimore's offense. Just like last week. I mean, we were very confident in that Cincinnati play. They end up winning the game.
Oh God, yeah.
But this week, it's like I'm pretty sure Baltimore wins this game, and it's going to be close. But I don't feel good enough about it to take Pittsburgh.
Understood. I get it.
Let's move on to Seattle, Atlanta. When I first saw this line come out,
8.5.
It's currently 6.5.
What?
Yeah, and when I first saw it come out, I wanted to jump on Atlanta, despite the fact that Cousins is playing, and we don't know the status of Drake London. Although maybe if I look right now, that's the reason it went to 6.5. Hold on, out. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, London's out. Kyle Pitts is the guy for them now, and of course Mooney. But go ahead, finish your thought, because I have an opinion on this.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's so important. This is Atlanta's season, as is every week now from now to the end of the year. If they think they're going to win the South, and that's their only way to get into the playoffs, and they, to me, their home record plus the way Cousins has been playing, which has been serviceable to good, not great. And I know how important Drake London is, but either way, I just feel like Seattle laying more than a touchdown on the road. I mean, we saw what they did even against Tennessee. It's a big number. And I'm inclined to take Atlanta in this game. I know it's a risky bet. I mean, you're going up basically against one of, if not the best defense in the league. And I know Bijan hasn't played well when he goes up against great defenses, and especially without London being on the field. But I think Atlanta's defense, the way that they played at home, can do enough in this game to keep it close. And I like Atlanta. What do you think?
Totally opposite you.
Wow.
I had this circled. I cannot believe you don't love Seattle in this game. We love Seattle on the road. They're road warriors. McDonald, entering week 7, they've won 7 straight outright at 1:00. 6-0 straight up start the season. McDonald 9-4-1 against the spread on the road. 5-2-1 against the spread when playing on the East Coast. Sam Darnold is a favorite of 6 or more. Very good. 10-0 straight up. 8-2 against the spread. Kirk Cousins is 1-7 against the spread in his last 8 starts. I have absolutely no confidence in Kirk Cousins. I think he is not a starter in the NFL. I'd rather have Mariota than I would have him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
He's 4-10 against the spread as a dog since 22. So that's only the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And only 2-12 straight up. I don't understand how Seattle can't blow the doors off of Atlanta. Seattle's a Super Bowl potential team.
Mm-hmm.
And Atlanta is done. They just lost to the Jets. Their season is over. Kaput. Done. Love Seattle.
That was on the road in the rain.
Absolute blowout. Seattle on a fast track. Not even a close game. 35-17, 35-14, 35-13, whatever you want. Seattle's going to score at will.
Well, Atlanta's defense isn't that bad.
I'm just saying the Jets just put up 20-something on them with Tyrod Taylor. This is Darnold. This is JSN. This is Barner. This is Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. And you know the defense is ferocious. Kirk's going to have 3 turnovers. 3.
Atlanta's ranked 21st.
Really love Seattle here. I think this is an easy spot for them. Again, they get a cupcake team, but the difference between this and Tennessee is this. It's a really rare thing for them to play Tennessee. It's an AFC team. They just haven't been good in that spot. I gave you the data. They were 1-7 all time against them. This is an NFC team. This is a conference game. This game matters to them. So they're going to go down there. I think they're going to pound Atlanta.
Well, it matters to Atlanta too.
I know, but Atlanta season's over. They lost to the Jets. You don't lose to the Jets and go to the playoffs. I'm sorry. It doesn't happen.
They're 4-8.
Yeah,
probably
their
right.
Season's over. They're 4-8. They're not getting in the playoffs.
I also, you made some good points there, and I don't know, maybe I could get there, especially because
we love Seattle.
Raheem Morris needs to be replaced. He's a terrible coach. He's now taken over for Vrabel as far as what I've been seeing in terms of bad decisions. And okay, maybe I can get there with you. I just
do we have
maybe it's a sucker line
in the contest.
7.5.
Oh, it's 7.5. Okay,
yeah.
And 6.5 live.
Saying someone out there is betting on Atlanta. Clearly, the market moved, and to move that number off of 7 is a big thing. That must be sharp action, right? There's no way the public is betting on Atlanta. So
I would agree with you. I would agree with you there. Maybe it's a misread by me, but the data says Seattle all the way. There's nothing here that supports Atlanta, a bet on Atlanta at all.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Colts, Jags. Colts are laying 1.5 on the road to Jacksonville.
Right. God. Duval.
I love the Jags in this game.
Me too.
Okay. Yeah. Right. 2 teams going the opposite direction. And
totally
I think
agree.
The data supports that I heard or read something this
Jacksonville
week.
Owns the Colts.
Indy hasn't won here since like 2014 or something.
Correct.
Like that. So yeah, and I just think, Liam Cohen's got something going there with that Jacoby Myers pickup and the offense, and
Jacoby Myers has been unbelievably good for them. He's now the number 1 receiver. Yep. Ryan Thomas Jr. is their number 2 receiver. The tight end is emerging. I picked him up in fantasy 2 weeks ago.
That Ingram?
This guy's Strange. He's unreal.
Yeah.
And they got the backfield figured out. Listen, the defense is playing good. You know those 2 guys that we like on their defense, the guy with the 2 names and the other guy.
Hines Allen.
Hines Allen, great.
Yep.
And the fact of the matter is that in the road games, the Colts are 1-9 against the spread in their last 10 games to Jacksonville. Jacksonville has been a thorn in their side for a long time. I've talked about Steichen in these late November, December games. His teams go in the tank. Steichen's always been a strong starter. And guess what's happening? The Colts are basically folding. I mean, the last couple of games, I know they're against good teams. So they lost to Kansas City and they lost to the Texans last week, correct?
Yeah.
Both good teams. Jacksonville's playing good football. And it's in their building, and this is a division game that they generally dominate this team. I like Jacksonville, money line, and plus the 1.5.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. And I think we should do it. Despite there are some injury issues that are slightly concerning. I mean, what's his face? Trayvon Walker is still questionable, although I think he went last week and was also questionable. And they also have Walker Little is out. That's the starting. It's a starting left tackle.
Oh, okay. Not the kicker. Okay, good.
No.
That guy's amazing.
I know. I'm just saying, when you're we talk about this all the time, but when your starting left tackle is out of the game, and the pass rush for Indy is, let me just double check that that's healthy. Yeah, Latu. That's they're all healthy, so I'm a little concerned about that. Sauce Gardner's still out also. So that's one good thing.
Daniel Jones historically
Indy.
Struggled against good defenses that let up 20 points or less. He is now 4-11-1 straight up playing outdoors against good defenses.
Yeah,
I mean, Jacksonville owns this series. Until the Colts do it, they got to prove it to us. I'm going to ride the streak. I'm staying with Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville to win this game.
Yeah, this is basically. Do they play each other again? I mean, this is a super high leverage game in the AFC South. They're both 8-4, so it's like whoever wins this game likely is going to take the division. And it's so important for the Colts also because in a tiebreaker with the Chiefs, they're out. So
I don't love the way the Colts have played. Honestly,
me neither.
I think Daniel Jones has a slight fracture in his leg.
Yep.
He hasn't been the same. They're just. And I know the competition they've been playing recently is better than what they played early in the year. Maybe that has something to do with it. But I think you combine that with Steichen's record late season games. He's just the teams just fade late. So I like what this guy Cohen's got going on in Jacksonville. I really do.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be. I'm not saying it's a blowout, but I think it's going to be a win.
Yeah, the only reservation I have is I have a long memory with Trevor, and. He reminds me of a little bit of like what Dallas does to me. Like every time I start to believe in the Jags, they let me down, and I could easily see them losing this game. But that said, I do think it's the right side in this one. Okay. Let's move on to Tampa, New Orleans. 8.5 hasn't moved. 41.5. Season's over for the Saints. You know what was funny on the podcast last week when you said, I'm not going to bet on this guy Slough.
Tyler Slough.
Is his name Tyler Shuck?
Tyler Slough.
I'm not going to bet on this guy Slough.
Tyler Schmuck.
Either way, the Bucks are getting healthy, right? And, I don't know. I can't even believe that I just want to double check the status of
Bucky Irvin's playing, Godwin's playing, Evans is out.
Of Evans. Okay. I heard a rumor that McMillan was coming back or like that he was practicing. I mean, that McMillan broke his neck.
The corner, yeah, he's not coming back.
No, the receiver. Jalen
that
McMillan.
Kid, yeah.
He's
Tez Johnson. They don't really need him, and they have Igbuka's been really bad recently, but I don't know how you feel about this. To me, it's pretty much a skip. The whole country that hasn't used Tampa is going to be on them in Survivor.
Yeah.
-8.5 in the division game is a huge number. Tampa Bay is 6-1 straight up in their last 7 against New Orleans, but only 4-3 against the spread. The Saints recently, the last 7 years or so, are 15-6-1 against the spread on the road against the NFC South. 8-0 against the spread as an underdog.
Wow.
So they've been like really dangerous here, and 8.5 seems like a lot. I don't trust this Tyler Schall kid. Thank you for Shuck kid, as far as I can throw him. But you know something? Kamara's out. The young kid Devin Neal's playing. They still have Taysom Hill. Olave could be in for a good game.
He's
Tampa's
questionable,
defense,
by the way. Olave.
yeah, I think he's going to play. But overall, Baker at home has not been great in his career. He's 13, 23, and 1 as a favorite at home in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Not great. But he has played well against the Saints. He's 5-1 straight up and 4-2 against the spread. All this, if I had to take it, I would take the Saints. I think it's too many points. But it's not a confident pick, and it's also an anti-survivor pick. But I certainly wouldn't be rushing to lay that many points in this matchup with a team against the Saints that tends to cover in these division road games when they're really big underdogs. They seem to cover all the time. So
yeah,
I'm not going to say let's take the Saints, but I'm not laying the wood.
I agree with everything you said. Everything to a T. Like I'm inclined to take New Orleans also, but I won't do it.
Right.
On the flip side, I have no confidence that Tampa can cover this kind of a number. They seem to win every week by 3.
Yes.
It's like they did it again last week.
They had a 10-point lead and they blew it. And and they won by 3.
And you saw that coming a mile away, didn't you? Like I knew. I was so happy we were only laying 2.5.
Me too.
I even had the Saints in one of my parlays plus 3.5, and I just had so much confidence that was going to get home.
Yeah.
It's just it really what it comes down to is Tampa's secondary is just still banged up and not good enough to stop really, honestly, anyone in the league.
That's why I think Olave could have a big game.
Yeah. Okay. So we're on the same page there. Let's keep going with Cincinnati Buffalo. Great game. Bills coming off a huge win against Pittsburgh. Not out of it in the AFC East, right?
Yep.
Is that right? What do you think of
this?
Bills
have a tremendous home record. I don't remember the last time they lost a home game. But I will say this. I absolutely love Cincinnati in this game.
Really?
I love the 6. I love the money line. I like Joe Burrow. I don't think Cincinnati is going to lose a game the rest of the year. I think they're going to finish 9-8.
Wow.
And they're 2-0 and against the spread and straight up.
Since he came back?
Yep.
Yeah.
As a favorite and underdog, scoring 24 points in both games. As an underdog, Joe Burrow is 20-11 against the spread as a starter. When he closes as an underdog of 3 points or more, he's 18-3 against the spread.
Wow.
And I don't like the way Buffalo's offensive line looks. I know we didn't take advantage of it as the Steelers. They ran the same fucking running play 19 times. Tomlin does not adjust. He's the worst. But Cincinnati's defense has been playing better. They get Jamar Chase back. I think they're more inspired. Higgins is back. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I think Burrow has the chops to go in there. Finally, somebody can go in there and win a game. I think it's Joe Burrow, and I like Cincinnati.
Okay. Yeah, I think I could get there with you on this one, although not much has changed with their defense. And I think I probably love this over. The Bills are going to score a lot of points, kind of like they did last week, both running and throwing. But I think their defense isn't good enough to stop Cincy with Joe and these 2 receivers clicking and the tight end and Yoshivas. Like, they have weapons.
Totally agree. This is a high-scoring game, and 6 is way too many.
Yeah. Okay, I'm totally with you on this, and just the added fuel of there's life for the Bengals. Like, it's not that
believes they can win the division.
yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah, well, and they're going to be
3-0 in the division,
right? So they'll be rooting for Baltimore in your game, and if they, having beat them, that sort of opens up the window a little bit more.
Well, they beat us too,
right? All right, so it doesn't matter.
Thursday night game. They're not rooting. They're not rooting for anybody. They just know that they play us each one more time.
Yeah. So
it doesn't really matter. What they're rooting for is they need to go to Buffalo and win the game.
That's right. Okay.
And that's what they believe they can do, and they're off extended rest.
Yeah. Wow. Look at this total, 53.5.
High scoring game. I really got to believe it. I know there's been snow in Buffalo. Make sure you look at the weather, guys.
Yeah. Okay. We both like Cincy. Moving to 4:00, right? Yeah, 4 or 5. First afternoon game. Denver at the Raiders, 7.5 on the road. Came out at 8.5. Raiders are taking money. Looks like a low scoring game, 39.5. I don't, as you know, I'm not a Denver fan. I think they're overrated. I continue to think that. I felt it last week. That's why I had Washington. I felt it the week before and got bit in the ass when I bet against.
I love them at home against KC, and
I know you did.
The only one on that.
That's when I lost.
Yeah.
Well, no, that was actually a fairly popular opinion. But in this game, I can't bring myself to bet the Raiders, and yet I think this is too many for them to lay on the road again. I mean,
what's the line?
Well, in the contest, it's going to be 7.5, and I think that's where the market is too. Yeah.
Okay.
Too many. What's the data say?
So I kind of lean Denver here. I think the first matchup was very close, if you remember. I thought the Raiders played really well in Denver that night, only they just couldn't get over the hump. They did, they sabotaged themselves a bunch of times.
Yeah.
They lost like 10-7. So I have a theory that these division games are completely opposite of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Denver's going to blow the Raiders out. I think Denver's going to score. I mean, this offense right now, with these weapons that they have and the emergence of this new receiver, this young kid that they've been throwing the ball to, in addition to Franklin and Sutton and Ingram at tight end, I just don't see how the Raiders have any will to compete in this game. They tried it the first game. I got to give them credit. I do understand what you're saying about Denver. Like, they have been lucky. Like, do you know that Denver is 5-1 straight up this year in games where they lose the turnover battle? Like, do you know how hard that is to do in the NFL?
Yeah.
That defies the odds. 5-1 against the spread. I mean, straight up. They're winning games where they're losing the turnover battle.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible. And
yeah,
they're 2-0. They're 2-0 in games where they lose the turnover battle by 2 or more. How unlikely is that?
Yeah.
They're just a charm team. The Broncos lately, they've won the last 3 matchups, 2-1 against the spread. Bo Nix is a favorite, is 15-1-1 straight up in his career as a favorite, including 4-0 versus the AFC West. He is 15-0 straight up as a 2-point favorite or higher in all spots versus all teams. Those are straight up numbers, not against the spread. He is, well, that was last year. This year, he's 7-1 straight up, but just 2-6 against the spread. That's the worst mark in the NFL. So this year, they're really not getting it done against the spread, but they're winning the games. They're squeaking by, just like last week, right? That's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
But the Raiders have been bad. They're 0-10 over the last 2 years against their own division, straight up. And I just think this game's going to have a different feel. I don't think that.
Do you have the ATS? Wait, do you have the ATS numbers in the division?
No, I don't. I wish I did.
Because
but I just think it's going to be an opposite game. First game was Raiders in the under. I like Denver in the over here. I think Denver could put up over 30 points.
Yeah, I disagree.
I think they're begging you with that half to take the Raiders, kind of like they begged you to take Dallas with that hook. Oh yeah, the hook. It's a division game. The hook.
No, I know generally 3.5 and 7.5 favors the favorite.
These are two diametrically different teams. Denver is an elite team that may go to the Super Bowl from the AFC. The Raiders are one of the worst teams in the AFC. Denver is the best defense in football. Yeah. Unarguable. I believe the data will support that. Either them or Seattle or the Rams, but they're up there. They have a winning coach who's won a Super Bowl. They have a good young quarterback who's not that young. They got a lot of weapons, and they find ways to win. So, it's kind of reminiscent a little bit of Chicago, even though Chicago doesn't have the Super Bowl winning head coach. But we'll get to them later. But I like Denver here in a blowout. I don't see the Raiders competing in this game. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to. I do like the Raiders getting the 7.5, but I don't want it to be in our top 5. And I don't. This is another example where I don't like either side. Just kind of like the last game. I don't want to lay, even though the Raider offense is ranked 31st in the league in the Denver.
Bad.
And the Denver defense, I have ranked 5th.
I think they're way better than that when I watch them.
They're very good. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah.
think they're, and especially their pass rush, like they could totally wreak havoc in this
Oh
game.
my God, they destroy people. Geno Smith is going to be under siege.
But I just think in general, and this sort of ties back to how I feel about the Seattle game, that it's late in the season to be laying a lot of wood on the road when these teams are playing for their lives. And the season, it's not, I think, like weeks 17, 18, when it really is over, I think you see different versions of these teams. But like, for example, in this game, and it being a division game, I think it's a ton of incentive. The Raiders hate Denver. So on some level, let's throw the record out the window. I just think they'll do enough. And I think part of it is just, I lack confidence in the Denver offense. And all that combined, I just don't want to lay 7.5 on the road in a division game late in the year with these two teams.
Maybe we'll bet 20 on it, because I absolutely love Denver to smash them.
Okay. Bears Packers 6.5, 44.5. This is like baiting me to go against one of my mantras, which I have broken this season, which is never bet against Green Bay in Green Bay. But I mean, how could you get off the Bears bandwagon now with how well they're playing, how well Ben Johnson has put this offense together, how well Caleb Williams is playing, like how the Packers can be hit and miss and like lose to the fucking Panthers at home, lose to the Eagles at home, like have these horrible performances. And yet here we are, 6.5 again. Same line as in the Vikings game. Can you believe that? Same line. They're giving 6.5 to the Bears, and they gave 6.5 to the Vikings. We think. I mean, Las Vegas thinks the Bears and the Vikings are the same. It's just like, I can't even believe how good the Bears are. 9-3, and Vegas is not giving them credit for being 9-3. Why wouldn't this be a 3.5 or a 4-point line?
I think a lot of it has to do with what you said about LaFleur in December, and the guy doesn't lose at home.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bears are 1-11 straight up in the last 12 against the Packers.
Wow.
Now, that's without Ben Johnson.
Right.
So all these, like you say, in this case, I really believe you, and I buy into what you say about recency, because when you change a coach at such a drastic change, Ben Johnson is another level offensive mind. Chicago's offense is playing at another level.
Yeah.
I mean, they befuddled the Eagles last week. I mean, they made the Eagles look silly.
I know.
And really, nobody does that to them.
No shit. I mean, that's Vic Fangio, one of the great minds in football right now. And he was like, what are they doing?
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I love what Ben Johnson has going. I think I'm certainly not getting off this train. I'm taking the 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you don't.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like every week we say, is this the week the Bears lose? And I think now, at least for the past 2 or 3, we're beyond that and saying, we won money last week. We had them in our top.
100%.
And I even bet them with real money. And I don't know why abandon that,
Jack,
except for like betting against the Packers in December at home.
I listen, the reality is LaFleur's been great in this spot. The Packers have historically owned the Bears. That is it. That is the old Bears team. Yeah. That is not this team.
Yeah.
This team is playing with the belief that they can win the NFC.
Yeah.
You see it in the locker room after the game. And honestly, Green Bay is not 100% healthy. I know Watson's back. They still don't have Jalen Reed back. They lost their tight end for the year. They have issues, I think, a little bit on defense. So 6.5 to me is just too many points. I mean, how do you go against this streak? And also, Mason loves the Packers. Loves. You speak to Brad?
No, he does.
He loves Green Bay this week.
Why?
He says this is the week, Cello, that the Bears, that it ends.
And
you know something? You don't have that attitude when you with the streak. You either bet with the streak or you don't bet at all.
Right.
You don't bet into it.
Yeah.
I'm taking the 6.5. I don't know how we get off this train. Their offense has been amazing. Their coaching has been amazing. They lead the league in takeaways. They have 18 interceptions. What else needs to be said?
Well, let me tell you this. let's just look at their rankings. Like Packers 5th, the defense is 7th, and the offense is 4th. And Chicago, this is pure numbers, is ranked 19th, and their offense is 12th, and their defense is 25th.
The numbers are fine. I'm watching the games. I think Chicago's on a roll here, and I have not been impressed with the Packers. I think they're an up and down team week to week. They've lost some heartbreaking, like they lost to the Browns.
Yeah.
This is the team that lost to the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that Chicago doesn't think that they're not going to be motivated to go in there and turn the tables and turn the tides on this entire rivalry that they've been getting killed on forever? You don't think Caleb can do it with Ben Johnson's offense, with Monangai, the way he's running, and Swift?
What about Odunze?
And these receivers? I know Odunze's out. That hurts them. It does. Odunze's not playing.
Yeah.
And that's a big loss for them. But, Green Bay's got guys out too. I just think 6.5 is too many, and I'm gonna have the Bears on the money line. I don't know how you don't.
Okay.
What else do you need to see about Chicago that you don't think they can win a game every week?
I know. All right. I'm pretty much there with you.
Reluctantly with me, but we got to stay on the Bears train. Plus 6.5 is a nice number.
Yeah, we've been riding it. I agree with the idea that, why get off? And, I've already been bitten in the ass by thinking you can't bet against the Packers at home twice this year.
Yes, twice.
So, okay. Rams, Cardinals.
Going to be Brissett. Kyler's out for the year. We know Brissett.
Yeah.
Just to let you know. You have any opinion on this one?
I do. It's funny because in the other games where you have to lay over a touchdown on the road, like we were talking about with both Denver and Seattle.
Yep.
This is the one I actually want to do, if any, this week, because I just think they own them. I think you're going to tell me, like, data-wise, that they own this matchup between the two, and and I just think Arizona. The only reason that they hung around in that game against Tampa was because of Tampa's secondary, and this is like the polar opposite of what they faced last week. And I just think Jacoby's going to see a crazy pass rush. He doesn't have, I don't know, let me check the injuries here, but I just think that this could get really ugly really quickly. What is the Marvin Harrison is out. DeMarcado is out. Dortch is out. I mean, these are real weapons on this offense.
Yep.
And on the offensive
Rams are off
line,
a loss too. Rams are off a stunning loss to the Panthers, where I'm sure anybody who had Rams left in Survivor took them last week. That was a 10.5 point line.
Oh, that's right.
And the Rams, I think, are going to come in angry. You're right about the data. McVay's 12-4-1 against the spread versus Arizona. That's the most profitable opponent against the spread.
Yeah.
7-1 against the straight up and against the spread in Arizona. So yeah. I like it. I would lay it. I think they're going to put a beating on them. Me
too. I just think it's going to be like quick, like kind of like that London game. All of a sudden it's going to be like 28-0, and second half will just be coasting. But they have the defense to basically, in my mind, like kind of shut them out, or like, really limit the amount of scoring.
I agree. I think Arizona missing those weapons. I think Brissett's in for a long day. The pass rush is relentless. These guys intercept the ball too.
Yep.
He's going to turn it over. I know that Kyron Williams is a little banged up, but Corum is fine. He's totally capable.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine the Rams not scoring at least 28, 31 points in this game.
Yeah.
And that should be enough to cover 8.5.
I agree. Okay.
All right. We're on the Rams.
Yeah. Chiefs, Texans. Sunday night game. Great game. Great game.
3.5?
3.5.
Wow. Is that live too?
Our contest line. Yeah, the market's 3.5. Contest is 3.5.
Do you know Kansas City has beaten Houston 5 straight times?
Have they?
Outright, but only 3-2 against the spread.
Mm-hmm.
This was the game last year in the playoffs that I turned off, and you called me and said, did you see how we just covered? They did something where they threw the ball out of the back of the end zone or something. Do you remember that in the playoffs? And
Yeah, was this
Houston.
the blocked field goal that came back and then
Something crazy. I turned the game off, and then I ended up winning that game.
yes, I'm pretty sure it's exactly what you
Kansas
said.
City won, but Houston covered.
Yes, they were backed up. They were up by 5.
Yes.
Like laying 3.5.
And
very
he ran
late
out the back of the end zone.
Very late in the game. Houston got a stop, used timeouts, whatever it was. They were on the 5-yard line, and the guy started running around in the background and just ran out of bounds in the end zone. And
hey, listen, man, this game to me is, I think 3.5. If I have to take it, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take the 3.5. I know Kansas City's desperate. I love the way Houston's defense is playing, and I think Nico Collins will have some success. The Kansas City back end corners, you could throw the ball in Kansas City this year, and you used to not be able to. So I think Nico is going to have some success. I'm not saying Houston can. I mean, certainly they can win the game. I don't know how you feel about this, but if it's probably a skip for us. I don't see it. I mean, it's such a hard game to predict. Obviously, I just think Houston's playing better football than Kansas City. Honestly, I do, and I know this is a must-win for Kansas City, but I think I would take the points here.
Me too. I like Houston. I like the way they're playing. I'm kind of ready to say that the Chiefs are done. They're 6-6. Yes, there's a chance, but Houston needs
Chiefs
to win.
Chiefs are never done until they're done. But
I know. But also Houston, this is a must-win game for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're 7-4. Both Jacksonville and Tennessee and Indy are 8-4. So one of those teams is going to be 9-4 after this game. And Houston's only path to the playoffs is likely a wild card, or maybe even winning the division. I know they play each other again, but they already played Jacksonville twice. So my point is they have to win this game, and so do the Chiefs. But the Chiefs have been dysfunctional in the red zone. I think against this defense is going to be very tough, and
Jack,
I think
honestly,
it's also there's enough value in CJ Stroud that you said it best. You said it last week in our text string during the game against the Colts. You said CJ Stroud sucks. And I think that is the prevailing sentiment in Vegas about him as a quarterback, is that he's fallen off and he has a lot to prove, and he doesn't suck. He actually played a really good game last week, and he had a couple bad, he still has a couple bad throws in him, but I don't think I would say he sucks. And I think I would back them in this position, given their defense and how the offense has been playing.
I honestly, you make a lot of very good points. And I agree with a lot of what you're saying about Houston playing well. I love their defense. I don't think that DeMeco Ryans is as good of a coach as Andy Reid.
Totally agree.
I just don't. And I think this is at night. I'm starting to backtrack here on my own thing. I think we have other games five that I'd rather put in than this. This is a desperate Mahomes, and I don't think I want to be on the other side of Mahomes at night in a game where he has to win. I just don't think that should be in our top 5
in Kansas City.
Yeah, I just think we have already 6 other games that we like a lot. I don't see why we need to do this.
Okay. Final game of the week is the Eagles traveling to
Chargers.
6, 7, 8. Oh, sorry, it's the 8.
Chargers.
Yeah.
Chargers.
Just want to see if it's 2.5 or 3. Okay, 2.5 is market, 41.5.
Any news on Herbert?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? In this one, let's see, LAC Herbert.
Broke his left hand, had surgery Monday, wants to play. I think he'll cast it and find a way to play. The kid's tough as nails.
Limited practice Friday, missed a handful of plays in the game against the Raiders. Bob. Okay, so we don't know. It's game time decision basically. But
who is their backup? Trey Lance.
Yeah, not betting.
Trey Lance. You cannot bet the Chargers.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
Yeah,
but why is the line not moved?
People are down on Philly, and I think if there's a time to take them, like if there's a time to buy a low on them this season, this is probably it.
Yep.
a couple of things with Philly. I mean, Jalen Carter's doubtful, Lane Johnson questionable. But I
Jalen
think,
Carter had surgery on his shoulder, Brad told me this week. That's a
yeah,
huge loss for them. And the
yeah,
Chargers get Omarion Hampton back, who's practiced all week. Their rookie running back, who's been out since like week 4. So between him and Vidal, they're going to be able to run it, I think. It's a hard one because, listen, Herbert has not been great against teams above 500. He's only 8-15 straight up. The Eagles have also not been great. They're 1-5 against the spread in their next game after a home loss, and 0-4 against the spread as a favorite. So, like, Sirianni's teams don't necessarily bounce back as quickly as you would think they would off a loss, So, if Herbert plays, I probably would like the Chargers. I don't see how this game makes it into our top 5.
yeah.
I honestly don't. So,
My big thing is with Joe Alden Slater out, I don't want to bet on the Chargers against a defense like this. Like, I know they're gonna get a pass rush. We
even
got a
without
guy.
Jalen Carter playing.
Well, I'm just saying, with the 2 starting left tackles out and what we've seen when they play good defenses, this is a desperate Philly team, and I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it either, but I will say this. After watching what Chicago's offense did to the Bears defense, if Herbert plays, they have the weapons to do that.
Yeah, but their offense isn't anything like the Bears.
From a player personnel standpoint, it's not bad. They have the deep threat in Johnston. They have Keenan Allen. They have Ladd McConkey. They have Gadsden at tight end. They have 2 great running backs, and they have a good quarterback, and they have Harbaugh. There's no reason why they can't move the ball and score against Philly the way that Chicago did. And their defense, I think, is probably, I'm going to say just as good because the Bears lead the league in interceptions, but their defense is pretty good. You would know the DVOA on the Chargers defense better than me. I would think it would be top 10. Probably top 10, no?
15th.
Okay, middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Either way, this game is not strong enough to make it into our top 5. If Herbert plays, I'm going to probably be leaning toward them because you're getting 2.5 at home on a Monday night. I like a home dog on a Monday night. And if you can tease that to 8.5 with Herbert, I like that even better if you're a teaser player,
Yeah. Yeah. It's ugly. I agree.
It's an ugly game.
And also Philly is so...
Yeah, I mean,
Philly is so hard to figure out like what's going on with them when you know what's really funny when you watch the Philly games and you see these long like camera shots of Jalen Hurts sort of with this like stoic stare into nowhere.
He never smiles.
Like an expressionless,
that's
like
him.
Like the thinker. It's just sitting and like he's just sitting there a lot of times by himself, expressionless. When they're down by 6, and like you just wonder, like, what the fuck is going on in this guy's
in
head?
his brain? No one knows. He shows no joy and no disappointment. He is the same face every time.
I know. And then people say, "Oh yeah, he's so even keeled." Okay, is that
maybe? Maybe he just has no feelings. Maybe he's not human. He almost looks like a robot sometimes.
You think he's AI?
He could be AI. I think he might be like Jensen Huang's robot.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I think you're right. Like I would maybe lean a little Chargers. We have to see what happens with her, but I don't think it'll make it in our top 5. And I'm still waiting for Philly to wake up.
I know.
Which I know, like we've seen it. They could do it at any moment and just explode. You
got to acknowledge that AJ Brown has been better recently.
Yeah,
he's had a couple touchdowns the last few games, and that to me is showing that they are waking up a little bit. I think Saquon's been hurt.
Oh yeah,
all year. He doesn't look the same. And again, the way you said about Philly's offense without Lane Johnson, the team is just not as good.
No, for sure.
So like, it's just hard to judge these teams when they're missing their best guys up front. It's like they're totally different teams.
Yeah.
So this one to me. Listen, let's review the games that we both really are in alignment on. We both love the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
We like Chicago. We're staying on that train. We're getting 6.5. We like Cincinnati plus the 6 at Buffalo. We like Duval. we're going with the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Colts, and that streak is going to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Jets a little more than you, but I kind of think you like the Jets too, plus 2.5 at home. And I really like Seattle to pancake Atlanta. And I know you're not with me on that. But so we're pretty close to 5. I think we can get there with those 6.
Yeah.
And we'll compromise on one game. If you need me to compromise on one, I will, whether it's the Jets or Seattle or whichever one you want to throw out. But I think we're pretty close to getting to the top 5. But I'm really comfortable with the other picks.
Okay. Let's talk.
I really am. I think we're on the right side in those games. I would be surprised if Chicago got blown out. I think their days of getting blown out are over. Yeah. I really do, man. I think that's early season nonsense. It's gone. That thing that happened to them week 2 at Detroit, that ain't happening anymore with Chicago. No chance. They figured this offense out. The defense takes the ball away. They got a coach that they believe in. Chicago is very impressive. He's up for coach of the year. I don't know how he can't be. Him and Vrabel.
Ugh. Vrabel. I really hope he doesn't win. Really hope
he was a Buckeye, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up the show with a little college football opinion here.
Okay.
Last Saturday of the year, Buckeyes got the big win against the team up north last week. That made my weekend. I can't even tell you the combination of being with 21 people at my family Thanksgiving, see my parents with their great grandchildren, and Ohio State winning was just like the greatest weekend of the year.
You needed it, and it's great for Ohio people to win that game. You need that guy, and your coach needed that win bad.
Yeah,
and he handled it with class, which I didn't think he would. Like no planting the flag.
Yep.
He says we're going to win with
humility.
What do you say?
Humility.
We're going to win with humility. And I kind of like that about him. I still believe that is when they got back to Ohio, they celebrated, man. And they celebrated with their own people.
Yeah.
And I feel like when Ohio State plays Michigan, I feel like the winner of that team is bound to have a letdown the next week.
Yeah.
It's just natural.
Yeah.
I love Indiana today, plus the 4.5. I think it would not surprise me if they win the game. And it doesn't matter. Ohio State's still going to be the number 1 seed, even if they lose this game, right? In that thing?
No, I think in the CFP, it will be Indiana. Whoever wins this game gets the number 1 seed.
Not according to what Reese Davis said this morning, not according to that board. They already had Ohio State penciled in at number 1 no matter what, and Indiana at number 2.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I think it's because of strength of schedule.
Correct.
And it's sort of like this is basically if your only loss is to the number 2 team, it doesn't matter.
Well, this is the thing with this thing, and you know more about college than me, and obviously Reed does, but there seems to be a little bit of an issue now between these conference championship things and this 12-team thing.
Because, well, I don't think it's that. I think it's just still the fact that it's a combination of the eye test and data and strength of schedule, and these there's certainly qualitative factors that go into it.
I understand that, but my point is the conference championship used to mean something to these teams, and I don't think it does.
That's right.
The national championship means something.
Yes.
Like these conference, like to win the Big Ten championship used to be a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal anymore.
And even that was a more recent thing. Like it used to be, I mean, Jesus, I remember when whoever won the Ohio State Michigan game would go to the Rose Bowl, and that was
every time.
Yeah, that was less important than the Ohio State Michigan game. But
yeah,
I agree with you that for the handicap on this game, that was such an emotional outpouring to both play in and win that game. Yep. And that I'm kind of expecting a little bit of a letdown today against Indiana, despite the fact that they're better, I think, at every single key position, at least on offense.
Ohio State is.
Yeah. All skill positions.
Except maybe quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Julian Sain's a freshman, for God's sake.
He's very even at quarterback, but you guys have the 2 best receivers in the country.
Yep.
The kid on Indiana is very good too.
Yeah.
But what I'm most curious to watch in that game is Indiana's secondary against those receivers.
I don't think that's going to go well for Indiana.
Yeah. Well,
no way.
It shouldn't go well against anybody because that kid's a freak.
I think what I'm sort of expecting is that our defense, which has been just completely relentless, with Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese, who they're now talking about Arvell Reese being the number one pick in the draft. I mean, it's crazy how this kid has emerged. But again, I just think maybe it's just going to be the first half, like Indiana first half bet might be the play. But I think Indiana can cover. Line's down to 4, which might be oversold a little bit. But yeah, I like Indiana.
I do remember also, and I pointed out to you, I think it was last year. It might have been 2 years ago, but I thought it was last year when you played Indiana at Indiana, and Will Howard, and you guys had, instead of kneeling the ball on the 1 yard line, you like punched it in.
Yeah.
And like,
Signetti's going to remember that.
Coach remembers that shit, man.
Yeah, for sure.
They really remember that. So I think you're going to get a really inspired effort. I've been of the opinion this year that college football is a little bit down, and that this would be a perfect year for Indiana or some unknown to come in here and win this thing.
Yeah, like Texas Tech, who I like.
Right, that's
I like them in the BYU game. I like Alabama in the Georgia game.
I like Alabama.
Yeah. I think that they sort of own them in key positions or, key spots throughout history. So I like them in that game. And I don't know, the Duke Virginia game I could care less about, but it's important for the standings. Yeah. And of course, the college football playoff, like someone's always going to be disappointed. And even if I know they're planning on expanding it to 16 teams. And that's just kind of like, okay, then everybody would get in. Vanderbilt would get in, Texas would get in. Like everyone would get in.
Texas. I kind of like those teams,
You want to get in? You're in. You want to get in? You're in.
You want to make it like the NHL?
You want a Scotty Cameron? You want a Scotty Cameron? You want a Scotty Cameron?
The greatest outing ever.
Everyone gets a Scotty Cameron.
How about when they gave out a gross of Pro V1s, 144 balls,
a case.
A case, when I call it a gross,
yeah,
a case of balls,
24 dozen.
Fucking Miggy almost shit himself when he saw that.
It was incredible.
Remember the one guy that when they said there was some sort of a giveaway on the 18th, in the middle of the 18th fairway, people were sprinting and leaping over flower baskets.
A guy actually hurt himself. He was out for the season.
I remember the guy told you after that some guy fucked up his knee. I love that day. That was a great day. One of the best, man.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck. We got 5 weeks left in the season. We just, Cello and I were talking about it on the phone. We got segment number 4, which is the 4th quarter of the NFL season, the final 5 weeks. Weeks 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
Sick.
Fantasy leagues are coming down to the wire.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe what Aubrey did for me Thursday night.
I know.
My God. And I remember back to the draft. So the way I drafted this year was like, it would come to my turn. And this is my first time in a fantasy league. It would come to my turn and it would just show me who the best player was on the board. And I would either choose to pick that guy or make an executive decision to maybe move down a couple, but I always looked
or fill in your roster how you want, player wise,
And then all of a sudden, then like the 9th round, Aubrey came up for me when it was my turn, and I was like, why would they put a kicker right here in the middle of all these like wide receivers and running backs? And I was like, I guess he's going to score a lot of points, and I took him.
Great pick. You know why? He has more points than Justin Jefferson. Is that unbelievable?
And how about the other night? He almost outscored St. Brown and Jameson Williams.
He's sick. He is incredible. Like a kicker like that. Like I used to take Tucker every year. Tucker was that guy.
Yeah. And I don't know who said it. I don't know if it was Kirk Herbstreit or somebody else. Maybe it was Rich Eisen. I was listening to NFL on this podcast, and he said it's like watching Fred Couples swing a 7-iron.
Right. So great. God, was that smooth.
All right, buddy.
Gray beard. I like that gray beard on you. Silver.
You like that?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Good
for the winner. Good for
the winner. Long this week.
All right. Well, listen.
We got some picks.
Everybody, with your selections. This is do or die, I think, for the Steelers, for Aaron Rodgers, for this experiment, which in my mind is probably already over, just because the defense has been such a failure. You can't have the highest paid defense and let up 300 yards a game, the way they do. It's just embarrassing to the real Steeler defenses of the past. I mean, they must just be laughing. James Harrison exploded online this week on Tomlin.
I saw.
Absolutely erupted on him.
I saw. Did he really?
Oh, my God. Vilified him. Vilified the man.
One of my favorite things, aside from them booing during that song, was the rumor that Tomlin was going to Penn State this week. I got excited a little bit about that.
Some idiot in Pittsburgh and some paper posted that Tomlin will never go to college. What he might do if we fire him, which we will not, Rooney doesn't fire anybody. Yeah. We don't fire coaches, Jack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
there's
he would
death,
be very
taxes, and the Steelers not firing coaches. That's the way it goes. But if we did fire him, I think he could go to the Giants. Probably be a pretty good fit there.
I agree. I don't think you let him go.
No.
All right, man. I got to run.
See you, buddy. Have a great day. Good luck with Ohio State, even though I'm against you. Adios.
Thank you, bud. Good luck, everybody.